like I said, we can chop it up.
I like it.
Well,
I
I'm
like
not
it.
sure what we ought to call this session we're having. I guess it's workshop. I mean, wood shop, workshop, coffee shop, coffee talk.
Yeah, folk. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll come up.
And I don't, I'm dressed. You could pay thousands of dollars for what we're doing, and dress up in a suit and all that stuff. But I think that's where they are. I'm not there. I'm here.
Well, you have to be where you are. They call that being authentic.
Yeah. And
And when the other people are putting on, then you can look. Oh, that's authentic. Oh, okay.
because they don't get involved. I'm talking about all of them. They don't get involved in face-to-face stuff like I do, like go to the council meetings for people or go to the P&Z meetings for people, because I think that's what we need. I think, why would you get elected if you're not going to advocate for people?
Well, you wouldn't see that as the mayor overstepping. Why would the mayor be going to a P&Z meeting?
Because they asked me to. They asked me to speak for them. I wouldn't necessarily speak at the P&Z meeting, but for the people, I'd be there to support them. Because there may be a conflict there if I had to make a decision on something that came to the council. But you need to be there so that you can show support for them. And if they have questions and issues, you can talk to them about it.
And then if
That's what you do. I mean, you help them people.
it makes sense. It makes good sense. And that way, if they come with a conflict, you got first-hand information.
Right.
It's not hearsay,
And-
and it's not he say she say.
Right.
You say, well, what I heard was.
And usually the way things happen up there at the city council is that the staff and the council already have their minds made up on issues, and they don't get into the details of what people are facing. So it's difficult to for me, it's difficult to make a reasonable decision when you don't know the human side of it. When you just know the dollars and cents and the staffing part, that's totally different than saying, hey, what's the matter with you? Tell me why you're saying what you're saying. Because they may not be right, but 90% of the time they are right. It's very difficult. I think some people, when they get elected, they think they're smarter than everybody else. But hell, you can't be smarter than 84,000 people. Or when 20, 10, 15 people come to the council meeting and say, hey, don't do that, you're not smarter than they are. Plus, they live it. They're doing it. It's like when we did research in the Army. You don't go, like you're doing a rifle or whatever piece of equipment it is, you don't go to the general and say, hey, what do you think about this rifle? You go to the private that shoots it, that uses it.
Yes.
He knows and he'll tell you.
He'll tell you what's wrong.
'Cause his life depends on it, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's the way the people are. They got
They have
they got a
skin in the
stake.
game.
That's right. They got stake in the action. Right. Skin in the game, stake in the action. And so that's what I'm about.
Well, that's the kind of leadership that's needed, because like when you get right down to it, you have the citizens, the people,
right,
who sends their money up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got after they pay their taxes,
right. They pay
to
everything.
employ all those people.
Yeah.
Never, because the rest of the money that comes out, that comes from other people's taxes too. So it's still people putting their tax money.
Yes.
To hire those $100,000 people, to hire those $90,000 people, who come in and say sometimes what the people need to hear, but quite often say what the people don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And then force it on them.
Right.
I can take the vote, all in favor, aye.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, well, point of order. We had 70 people come here and say, we want it this way.
Yeah.
Why are you guys voting against all those people who came in? Need leadership who is sensitive.
That's a good question. I just experienced that with the rezoning over on Villa Maria. This guy wanted to put in a multi-story apartment building. I think it was like 230 apartments right across the street from Glenn College of Villa Maria, and the neighborhood there is over 55. Most of the people, maybe all of them are over 55. Anyway, they came, just like you said, they came to the council. 11 of them said, don't do that. 70 of them wrote letters and said, don't do that. And they represented probably 100 or 200 or 300 people in the neighborhood over there around Broadmoor that didn't want that to happen, because their neighborhoods are really good. They're really
well
taken care of, and they're proud of them, and they know each other. And so, just like you said, and plus, in order to get it to a supermajority, they had to circulate a petition to get 20% of the people that live next to it to agree with it. And they did. They got it. They got the supermajority in, and I helped them get them notarized and all that stuff. And so I was down there with them and talked for them, but there was 11 of them that spoke very well. We have all kinds of educated people, all kinds of people with just because you're educated doesn't mean you know what's going on, because we got people that don't have a clue about education, but they know what's going on, buddy, and they can tell you how to fix it. But anyway, so at that meeting, I had all those people there saying, don't do it. And you have one guy from out of town, has no stake in the action here now, and the city council, every one of them, went with the out of town.
So there was a so-called imported expert, imported from out of town, an imported expert who came in and trumped the local citizens.
Right. Who pay the bills.
Who pay the bills,
Who
who put the money in,
Right.
who elect people to be in position.
Right, and one of the council members that I'm running against for this mayor's race, he says in the meeting, he says, oh, if I was over there, if I lived over there and they were trying to do that, I wouldn't want that either. But he voted against the people. I go figure.
How can that be?
I know. And so after the thing was over, after the vote was taken, I had a meeting with all those people, and I asked them, I said, I got a problem here. I'm trying to figure out how to make decisions. When you got 70 people essentially telling you from your town, your people that vote for you, don't do it, and you got one guy from out of town that has no relationship with us whatsoever and says do it, and they go with him, how do you get there in a decision making process?
Did he answer?
Huh? I was talking to the whole group.
Oh, okay.
I was talking to the whole group.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do you get there? Okay, so we're talking about making those decisions against the public. It's just when you make those decisions, if you're not compassionate, I think maybe it's more than compassion. Maybe it's more that you understand where they're coming from. You don't have to agree with them because your part of town or wherever you live, you got issues that I don't have in my part of town. But just because I don't have them doesn't mean that I shouldn't be taking care of you if I'm elected.
I think, Mike, what it comes down to is, do you value integrity? Because nobody running for any office says, if you elect me, I just might vote against you in a way that don't make no sense.
Yes.
Nobody would say that.
Yeah.
But then, you say your actions speak louder than words, and you know the tree by the fruit it bears. So after a while, if you're looking at people who consistently work against you, it's time for you to make some changes.
Right.
That's what I think. And maybe it's malicious, or
right.
maybe it's like them old folks say, you dance with the one that brought you. And if some people think that other than the people put them there, then they stay loyal to the people.
Well,
They brought them there. That's what I'm saying. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm right, but
well, no, that's true. And the problem, however, is we have a system, and it's made up of the town, and it's 87,000 people, whatever, and everybody has different situations.
yes, I'm going.
There we go. All right, so we're talking about the idea about the town being a system, and it's got all kinds of parts that need to be cared for, and in different ways. And so if you're not conscious of people's situations, and you make a decision, well, like somebody on the west side of town that's close to the county has a different view of things than somebody in Miramont has. In Miramont, that's
Absolutely.
So that's what you're dealing with.
Yes.
Totally opposite. But just because the guy from Miramont contributed to your campaign and they know you, they've been friends for life, or whoever it is, and this guy here, you don't even know him, he's off the street, doesn't mean you ignore him. Because that guy, woman, whoever it is, has a problem with the town. So if you listen to them and you correct that part of town, and you listen to everybody that does the same thing, this will be a beautiful place.
It will be beautiful. And the Miramont won't be resentful of the other people because it ain't no skin off of them.
Well, and yet, however, it is impactful to them because I've made this speech
Impactful
before.
as in beneficial.
No, impactful to Miramont because if you live in a place where it's perceived as not up to standards, I don't care how much money you got, you're still in that place and you're still perceived that way.
Okay.
So it's better for everybody to pull on the rope to get this place better because in the long run, everybody benefits. I've said that many times about the people, like you were talking about earlier, that the people on the council take care of their friends. Okay, that's 1,000 people. So what if you took care of 75,000 people or 87,000 people instead of 1,000?
Be a lot more joy in the party.
And you make more money, and you make more money too if you're a business person.
And people would feel better. I think somewhere along the way, some elected people have felt like the people who elect them ain't that important.
Oh yes, oh yeah.
Somewhere along the way that happens.
That happens every time. It's an ego thing.
And unfortunately, it too much of the population have become demoralized.
Yes.
Well, it's always been this way. They just suck it up and suffer.
Nothing's going to happen for us.
Until
Nothing's gonna be
somebody
good.
comes along to show them some respect, to let them know that they are valued, you know, and to treat them like human beings so they can see what it's like to be respected again.
It's really short-sighted. I'd like to say stupid, not to consider everybody's valuable. Everybody's valuable. You can't, I don't think you can write anybody off. Even
Well, I'm glad you think like that, because you're a person who won't write anybody off, but
No.
there are some who could care less.
yeah. Oh yeah, the current mayor. I had some people. This lady came every time to the council meeting. I mean, I don't know how many years she came, but she had issues with different parts of town, and he told her, Nelson told her not to come back.
No, he didn't.
Don't
do that.
speak anymore.
I don't-
Oh
I
yeah,
don't believe
I'll
that.
introduce you to her. Yeah,
I don't believe the mayor would tell a citizen to not come back to the council meeting. I
He
don't
did.
believe that.
He did. I swear. I don't have to swear. I'm telling you the truth. I can prove it. What I'm saying, I can back up. So
You have the receipts.
I don't go off the cuff. You know?
That's sad, Mike. I mean, you know,
Oh yes, it said, and that's what's wrong. What's wrong is that, generally speaking, people will tell you what's wrong. That's why they come to those council meetings. They tell you what's wrong. Not only that, but they'll tell you how to fix it. You know what needs to be done because they're using it. They're using equipment, land, what road, whatever, and then they'll help you fix it. Most of the time, you don't have to do much, anything but listen
like
to
that
it.
soldier in the trench with that rifle.
Yeah.
When you want to know how's it working, he'll tell you what
Yeah,
you need
that's
to know. And
exactly
if
right.
you fix it,
Yeah.
then the country is safe because
Yeah.
the weapons are doing what they need to do.
I hate to keep talking about the military, but the military is a wonderful example of how things ought to go in terms of organization and systems.
Mhm.
Because look, they've been taking care of us for 150 years, whatever. How old are we? 200 years?
At least 200.
Yeah, and so, what they do is, because I was in it, I know they look at organizational principles, and if they're off on what they're doing, they'll change it. So they modify their behavior based on what's going on in society and what's effective.
Mhm.
And so there's all kinds of stuff that they do that's very, very valuable, that helps them take care of us. And the cities don't do that for some reason. I don't know why.
You know, one of the things many years ago now, at an All-America City competition that I attended, one of the questions that came up was, from what I observed, you know what the question was, Mike? Do we agree that we should maintain blight and poverty in our community? Do we? Now, everybody will say no. Should we keep blight and poverty in Bryan? If you ask the leadership, should we maintain? Because we got it.
Yeah,
We agree that we got it.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you agree that we should maintain it? And the response is unilateral. Everybody said, oh, no.
Yeah.
But I say, well, if we still have it after 50 years, it's being maintained because there's no way you could have a 50-year-old car that still drives without it being maintained. So if we
Yes.
still have it, we're doing something to keep it. What is that?
I agree with that.
Now, the next question is, what do we need to do
Okay.
to end it?
Okay.
And that puts you on a whole new thing. New way of thinking.
Being nice, I say that the people that get elected, just because you can win a contest, a popularity contest, doesn't mean you know what to do once you get into the office.
Okay.
It's running for
Okay.
office and then it's governing. And like the experiences we had in the military, I had one day I'd be in charge of 1,000 people, and the next day I'd have a desk. You know? So I wouldn't, they kept your ego level. They kept you at a point where
Can't get too full of
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because when you're in charge of 1,000 people, that's a lot of power. You know, you can in the military, you can take them from their family, you can fine them, you can keep them you can do all kinds of stuff to them. You know, they're at your mercy. They're at your mercy. You know, and as I think about that, they're at your mercy almost like the city is. We're at those council members' mercy, really, because they can take care of do our lives the same way.
But there's,
Anyway.
there's also, you have a responsibility, and some don't accept it.
Right. They
Some
don't.
become
Okay, I
hooligans.
was trying to be gentle. Okay.
Well, that's you're running for mayor. I'm not.
No, I mean it's got to be said. I'm pretty frank with most people, but I think there's two reasons. One is they don't know. That's bad by itself. They don't know. That's a terrible situation. But that may be the least of the worst. So some of them don't care.
That's worse than not
Yeah,
knowing.
right.
Yeah.
And like the mayor says to one of my good friends, we're trying to get rid of the low to moderate income people in town. Yeah, I can back that up too. I got witnesses. So that's the attitude. The attitude is, you don't pay enough, so we don't need you. We just need the people that's going to fund us to go run our campaign and take care of us. And we're going to take care of them, they'll take care of us. That's a quid pro quo thing that goes on. And that's I'd say that's a fact, Jack.
Well, you can
Carl,
see
anyway.
you can see it in many ways, and you can see it in many cities that's exactly what's happening. People are being run out of their neighborhoods.
Yes, well, that brings up one that I fought real hard about was the mobile homes, where they banned the mobile homes.
Yeah, that was not too very long ago.
About 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, so at that when they brought that forward, this P&Z brought it forward, and Bobby Gutierrez was the chair of the P&Z. Oh, I got a woman there. I'll try to keep it down. Anyway, so they were telling people that we're taking care of you. You'll be better off not living in that mobile home. And so during the course of the debate, I said, you know what? I'm thinking that if those people could improve that, they would do it already. You don't need to tell them. They know. The thing about it is, we need to figure out how we can help them. There's programs all over the country, and we get a couple $1 million a year to help people in those kind of living conditions that need help with it. Habitat, is one of the nonprofits that does it. And so, why would you do that? You have just because you're going to ban that mobile home, that just puts them in a worse position. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to live? I mean, that's what they can afford. It was passed down through their families. So why do that? And they said, well, we're trying to help them, but also we want to get the like you were talking about, the blighted areas off the streets. And I said, you know what? Those mobile homes are back off the street. Not very many people go back there. I don't know who from out of town would find them over there. And they were good living conditions. I mean, they were fine. People were happy with them. But they needed some help to try to fix them up a little bit, which we could have done easily. And I said, if that's your goal, you need to start up there at Texas Avenue and Coulter, where that tire shop is. That tire shop's terrible. People complain about that every week to me, and y'all won't do anything about it. It's the worst looking building in town. It's an eyesore. You come to town, you see that, you go back to College Station.
Or wherever you came from.
Yeah, and so one of the things I'll do when I'm elected is change that. And not only change it to take that rule about banning them, is that I'll figure out, and that's what I ask them then, is how can we help these people? Just like you're talking about, how can we help them? And just because you help them, it doesn't mean that they're lesser people or whatever, or it's going to take something away from the rest of the town. It's going to help our town. I mean, helping those people in those mobile homes has a lot more value than $200 million in that super park.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, really what?
But that makes a lot of money. The super park makes a lot of money. It brings a lot of people
It ain't
in.
even online yet. How can you say
It's
that?
been open for the last...
No, not the super. You talking about the big kits or big shots?
Yeah, your big shots.
Yeah,
No, that's not...
that. We don't benefit from that. They give them a tax break for 8 years.
Hold on a minute, Mike.
Uh-oh.
May I ask you?
Sure, go ahead. Whatever.
Did I understand you to
I'm
say
here for you.
that this place, Big Shot, which is right down the street from where I live, and parking lot is quite often full,
Yeah.
which means the money is being spent.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
I think they're doing good. I think they're.
And the city of Bryan doesn't collect any taxes from that
No.
for 8 years.
Yeah. Property tax. I don't know if they got waiver on sales tax, but property tax. They don't.
Okay, no
Oh,
problem.
they're paying rent actually, not property tax. They're
Okay.
paying rent, which is waived for 8 years.
So I have a lease that I don't have to pay for 8 years.
Mhm.
Well, hell, they could do that for the people with the mobile homes.
I know exactly, but now I'm not disparaging that big shots because
I'm not
eventually-
that either.
yeah,
I'm saying we find
that's
creative
a
ways to
deal.
do what we want to do.
That's a deal. We're exactly
We
right.
find creative ways to do what we want to do. So,
I'll tell you worse than that,
oh,
if
man.
I may. But anyway, let me go back to the super park.
Okay.
So we're talking about the money spent super park. So
$200 million.
So then that's my number. I can show you how you get there. But anyway, Bobby Gutierrez says on his Facebook page or somewhere that the super park is making money. The way it's operationally it's making money. Expenses and income. Well, it's not even running. The building out there is not even running yet. And the mayor said a similar thing, that it's the way they've got it budgeted, it's making money. Not the big shots thing, but the rest of the park.
Okay.
Which is, it's not even online. Nobody's using it.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
no activity, no
Okay.
income, but it's making money.
Right. So I asked, and both times I sent an open records request to the city, and I said, hey, tell me the data. Send them the data that the mayor and Bobby Gutierrez, was different times, but Bobby Gutierrez used to make those statements. And so I had to ask 4 times before they
Sent you something.
sent me something. No, I mean, they sent me something, but it wasn't what I asked for.
I said sent you something.
Yeah, and so what they sent me was, we don't have anything like that. We don't have any data like that.
So what was the basis of Mr. Gutierrez making the comment?
I think they made it up. I think it was total political statement, both of them.
And I think the